Daniel Hayes had spent most of his life driving cattle across the rugged plains of Arizona Territory. Honest, hard-working, and respected by every rancher who knew him, he never expected his final cattle drive to become a fight for survival. One terrible mistake placed him directly in the path of ruthless outlaws seeking revenge. While crossing a narrow canyon, Daniel discovered a stagecoach under attack by a violent gang. Without hesitation, he rode into danger and helped several frightened passengers escape. Although the innocent families survived, the gang leader blamed Daniel for ruining a robbery worth thousands of dollars and swore revenge before disappearing into the desert. Weeks later, Daniel rode alone toward his ranch when the same gang ambushed him near a dry riverbed. Outnumbered and wounded, he fought bravely until his horse collapsed beneath him. The outlaws tied his hands and announced they would hang him publicly at sunrise to frighten anyone who challenged their authority again. As darkness settled across the canyon, unexpected riders surrounded the outlaw camp. Apache warriors silently emerged from the surrounding hills with bows drawn and horses ready. Their leader demanded the immediate release of several tribal members the gang had kidnapped earlier that week while stealing supplies from peaceful villages throughout the region. The outlaw chief refused the demand until a young Apache woman stepped forward. Her name was Nayeli, daughter of the respected tribal elder. Calmly, she offered a surprising exchange. Instead of demanding only her captured people, she proposed trading valuable horses, food, and supplies in return for every prisoner, including the doomed cowboy awaiting execution. The outlaws laughed at her unusual request. Their leader asked why anyone would waste precious resources saving a stranger. Nayeli simply answered that an innocent life carried greater value than gold or horses. After hours of tense negotiation, greed defeated cruelty. The gang accepted her offer and released Daniel together with every captive without another fight. Daniel could barely stand because of his injuries. Nayeli helped him onto one of the traded horses before leading the group safely toward the Apache settlement hidden deep within the surrounding mountains. Although confused by everything happening around him, Daniel realized the woman had sacrificed an enormous portion of her tribe's wealth for someone she barely knew. For several days, tribal healers treated Daniel's wounds using traditional medicine gathered from nearby forests and mountain springs. His strength slowly returned. During those peaceful evenings, he watched families working together, children laughing freely, and elders teaching younger generations. The welcoming community looked nothing like the fearful stories outsiders often repeated about Apache people. One evening, Daniel finally gathered enough courage to ask Nayeli the question filling his thoughts. "Why did you save me?" She smiled gently before answering that many years earlier her late father had taught one simple lesson. True strength appeared whenever someone protected the innocent, even if no reward ever followed such kindness. Daniel thanked her repeatedly and prepared to return home once fully recovered. Before leaving, Nayeli requested one final conversation beneath an ancient cottonwood tree overlooking the valley. Speaking respectfully before tribal elders, she surprised everyone, including Daniel, by declaring that according to her family's promise, the brave cowboy would become her husband if he accepted willingly. Daniel stood speechless. Nayeli explained the tradition carefully. Her father once vowed that if a stranger ever risked everything to protect innocent lives, their family would welcome that person forever. Saving Daniel fulfilled not only compassion, but also a sacred promise made years before. However, she emphasized that only his free choice truly mattered. The elders agreed completely. No tradition could force two people into marriage without mutual respect and willingness. Daniel appreciated their honesty. During the following weeks, he remained in the village, learning Apache customs, helping repair homes, caring for horses, and discovering the remarkable wisdom shared through generations of family traditions and community cooperation. Meanwhile, Black Viper, the outlaw leader, learned Daniel had escaped execution. Furious and humiliated, he gathered nearly 30 armed men determined to destroy the Apache settlement and eliminate the cowboy forever. Scouts quickly warned the village before sunrise, giving everyone precious time to prepare defensive positions without seeking unnecessary bloodshed or revenge. Daniel refused to leave, despite having every opportunity to escape safely. Standing beside Apache warriors, he explained that true courage meant protecting those who had protected him first. Ranchers from neighboring valleys, remembering Daniel's honesty over many years, unexpectedly arrived with wagons, supplies, and additional riders ready to defend the peaceful settlement together. When the outlaws charged through the narrow mountain pass, they discovered every escape route blocked by determined defenders. Instead of a violent massacre, they faced overwhelming resistance and surrendered after realizing innocent families stood united rather than frightened. Territorial marshals arrived shortly afterward, arresting the gang and ending years of criminal terror across the frontier. Peace finally returned to the valley. Ranchers and Apache families began trading livestock, crops, tools, and medical supplies instead of living with suspicion. Friendships replaced old misunderstandings. Daniel realized that the greatest victory had not been defeating criminals, but helping two communities discover trust after generations of unnecessary fear and painful separation. Several months later, Daniel returned beneath the same ancient cottonwood tree where Nayeli had first spoken of her father's promise. This time, he carried no uncertainty. Looking into her eyes, he admitted that kindness had changed his heart long before he recognized it. He asked whether she would still accept him as her husband. Smiling through happy tears, Nayeli accepted. Their wedding blended ranching traditions with Apache customs, celebrating respect for both families rather than asking either side to abandon its identity. Guests from distant ranches and neighboring tribes shared food, music, and stories, proving that understanding often begins with one courageous decision made in compassion instead of fear. Years passed, and Daniel and Nayeli built a thriving ranch beside the mountains where they first found hope together. Travelers often stopped there, seeking water, shelter, or honest advice. Every visitor received the same warm welcome because the couple believed generosity always returned in unexpected ways, sometimes changing lives forever. Whenever young children asked how two people from completely different worlds became husband and wife, Daniel smiled before pointing toward the old canyon where everything began. "She traded everything to save a stranger," he would say softly. "I thought she rescued my life, but in truth, she gave me an entirely new future."